Do not attempt to adjust your dial. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. It's your boy Big Vern. This is App Stupid, the fastest growing sports and entertainment show on these YouTube streets. You're welcome. Holla at us. Yeah, it's your boy Big Vern, still moving and rocking here in the studio on a beautiful Monday here in the Midwest. Our last segment, we talked about Keyshawn, the businessman Davis. He pretty much ruined a weekend for American boxing that could have been triumphant. Like I say, take a listen to the segment. You'll get our thoughts on that. So from the world of boxing, we're going to go to college basketball. I happen to read a heartbreaking story out of Indiana, and it's about an ongoing situation. Dr. Bradford Momba, he is at the center of this investigation. Now, first off, who is Mr. Momba? He's a physician for the University of Indiana. He's been accused of sexual misconduct by at least 15 former basketball players. Harris Mazufakic and Charlie Miller originally filed the suit against the university last October. Now, pause. Nobody talked about this in the news, and everybody went out of their way to kind of hide what was going on. And me being a staunch Indiana fan, I was caught up in the Kurt Signetti success and everything that was going on with Indiana football because, again, this was in October. So this didn't hit the airwaves, and I know it was something that people liked to get attention diverted from. So you need a distraction that's going on out there, and there was none at the time, so they just chose to ignore what was going on. Back to the story. Now, since then, 3 other ex-athletes have joined the lawsuit. 10 additional men are planning to pursue litigation. This is awful and shameful. The media is covering this up. These young men need protection from creepers like this Momba character. And just what did he do? We'll go ahead and talk about that when we get on the other side of the content. It's your boy Big Vern. Give me a beat. Ba-bum, ba-bum. It's your boy Big Vern coming to you live from the App Stupid Studios with another rap album, Balance by Master Killer, Wu-Tang Killer Bees. In stores now. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites on the track is Eagle's Claw with Master Killer, Raekwon, and Capadonna. Building with the Abbott, aka the RZA. Glad to Meet You is probably the song of the summer. If you listen to Glad to Meet You with Method Man and Snoop, that's probably one of the hottest tracks I've heard to date. Like, it give you that old Wu feeling. Like, you just, man, that nice to meet. Look, trust me, go get it. Then Trumpets with Nori, AZ, and Uncle Murder. Master Killer, Balance, in stores now. Yeah, shout out to Master Killer. Shout out to the Wu-Tang. Still around doing their thing. Go get the album. It's a good purchase. So, when we last left off on the other side of the content, we were talking about Dr. Momba and sexual assaults and what did he do. Here he is allegedly accused of regularly giving players rectal exams during physicals. Now, rectal exams were not considered standard protocol for healthy college men. At the time, the exams were allegedly being performed. So this man was digitally assaulting these young boys. And that's awful. That's awful. Now, he's been doing this for 30 years. That's even more heartbreaking. There could be countless victims out there, and you don't want to come forward, or you don't want the trauma to be invited back into your life. Because sometimes as men, what we do, we tuck that trauma away. I'm not sitting there saying that every man has been sexually violated, but what I'm sitting there saying, for the most horrendous things that have happened to men, we kind of go ahead and push those feelings down and suppress those memories. But here, these guys were just going to play basketball. And I almost wonder if they would have went to their family physician to get a physical, would that still be honored by the university? Because, I mean, I'm just asking this question. I don't know if that's a violation of policy or it's not in protocol. I'm just asking if these men heard other stories from other men who are coming into the team. Hey, look, you don't want to go there. If these new recruits would have gotten their family physician to give them a physical, would this still suffice? I don't know. The former players believe these exams constitute sexual misconduct. They also allege university officials, including legendary coach Bob Knight, were aware the exams and they did nothing to stop them. That is damning, because remember the whole Joe Paterno and the Penn State thing, where they had a statue of Joe Paterno out there, and everybody who was associated with that thing, I mean, nobody came out looking great. They even took that statue down because of years of sexual abuse. And him not only firing the guy, but go back and hiring the guy. And there was a lot of people trying to provide cover, saying that he spoke with the university president and he let them know when he knew. But you're the head coach. You could have fired this guy. You chose to put your hands in the pocket because football was the greater good. And that's how he sat there. Now, parallel that with Bob Knight. If Bob Knight knew this was going on, does this diminish him in your eyes? Because he idly sat by and watched these young men be violated. Because the men allegedly say that he knew, he was told. And he's no longer here to defend himself. Dr. Momba is no longer here to defend himself. So not only did the players, they complained about the exams to Coach Knight, they also complained to athletic trainer at that time, Tim Garl, who continues to refer players to Momba. So where do you go if you're a player and you feel trapped? You've been violated. You let the coach know, hey, look, I didn't like that. I felt weird about that. That happened to me. Nothing. You go to the head trainer, Tim Garl. Hey, look, I don't like this. I think I've been violated. Can we stop this guy? No, what we're going to do, we're not going to listen to you. We're not going to go ahead and honor this, that, and the third. We're going to go ahead and continue to send more people to him. And that's damning. That's a hard sell right there. That's a hard sell. And if you're a diehard Bob Knight fan, how does this make him appear in your eyes? Because here's a man who demanded discipline, who demanded, rank and file order. Here's a guy who really just was on staunch on people getting good educations, and the graduation rates were up and recruiting men of character. And then you do this. And then you pull this. How does this make him look? Give me a quick 20. Ba-bam. It's your boy Big Vern coming to you live from the App Stupid Studios with another rap album. I know it's like Christmas in the summertime. Overcast. While the Iron is Hot, in stores now. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites on the track is Truth. Truth is dope. Stumbling, I listen to that every day. Stumbling in 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is crazy. Strange Ways with Vince Staples, New Era, and One Time. Overcast. While the Iron is Hot, in stores now. Shout out to Overcast doing his thing. Go get the album. It's a real good album. 6 a.m. That's my jam. My unk, he'll floor you. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That man, I like that bar. Anyway, when we last left off on the other side of the content, we were talking about the legacy of Bob Knight. Has it been tainted with the whole Dr. Momba thing? Because there's a large group of men who say that they were violated by him during physicals, where they were subject to anal exams, and there didn't need to be any kind of rectal exams whatsoever. It wasn't even a requirement to have that physical to even make that team. So Tim Gurl, who was in his post for 45 years, he was in his post in Indiana for 45 years, and he declined, the university declined to renew his contract this past April. Again, keep that in the back of your mind. Out of the 3 men that were named in this story, one person is still alive through all of this. One person is alive through all of this. He can shed light on it, but he's not talking. He's not going to get on the record about these allegations. Tim knows bluntly where the bodies are buried. Now, physician Momba was found competent to be questioned about said allegations. He participated in the deposition in December. Again, everybody was caught up in the Indiana success on the football field. I know I was, because Indiana at that point, they were getting ready to play Michigan in Indiana. And that was a huge game. But this story needed to be told. And the media, the national media, they went out of their way to throw a wet blanket on this story, and they did not want to talk about it. Bob was on the record in December. He sat through a deposition, and just like all creepers with something to hide, he invoked his Fifth Amendment right multiple times. Momba, 89, he died this past May. So you're not going to get what happened from his mouth, because every side of the story has 2 parts. Now, on the optics, this is disgusting and repulsive that, number 1, you let kids repeatedly get abused. Number 2, you covered it up for decades. And number 3, the only living person who can add context isn't talking because the other 2 are in their graves. Indiana, with their back against the wall, when the allegations were dropped, they commissioned an outside investigation outfit to look into these things, and that's great, because that's fair. You know, it's not us investigating wrongdoing by us. This is a complete independent third party. The investigators, they found in the case that the doctor, they claimed, while Momba did perform those exams, he did so clinically appropriate manner. That doesn't make any sense to me. And you have to prove intent. Again, this guy was not talking to investigators. So did they get the charted notes? And if they got the charted notes, that should be public record. If these guys are willing to sign HIPAA release forms and let us look at these physicals and how they were filled out, I don't know how you can reach he did it clinically appropriate, because you're saying that he didn't get any sexual gratification out of this. How do you know? How do you know? That's something that you can't prove, but that's something that they reached a decision on, saying that, yeah, he did physicals going in these young men's anuses, penetrating these young men, and he wasn't sexually gratified. This was clinically appropriate. Yet, that's not a requirement in any physical. Again, you see everybody's trying to go ahead and have cover up on this. They try to reach the university and the officials for comments. They're not talking. Tim Gurl, the only living person who suffered through this, they're not talking. And it's sad. The 2 men who originally filed the suit in October, They're considering filing suits contractual those findings, with one claiming Bomba fondled his genitalia. Oh my God. During the physical, after the man said Bomba performed a rectal exam on the man when he was a minor in high school. Again, here we go. You start off with more questions than you do answers. Crimes against women is a real thing. Also, crimes against men is a real thing. A man can be sexually assaulted. You're traumatizing young men. And the part that's heartbreaking is no one protected these people. You mean to tell me the man who's big and bad and can throw a chair across the room, the man who went in allegedly Isaiah Thomas's house and had fought his uncle because they wasn't going to pay him to come to Indiana, allegedly the man who went over and started almost an international incident. You mean to tell me you can't stand up for the players and fire the doctor, the physician? You had enough weight to make that happen in Bloomington. And according to these players, they told you and you sat on your hands. Just a heartbreaking story. A heartbreaking story. I don't know where you go from this. Again, if you are listening to this pod, get in the comments. Let us know, did we get it right? What did we leave out? This is Big Vern. We talk back. We'll be back. Top of the hour. This is your boy Big Vern at App Stupid.